That's awesome.
Sea of recordings.
Exactly. We're doing chairs, equal opportunity. That's fun.
Yeah, like we've been working as a partner.
Do you want it closer or are you good over
No,
there?
it's good. It'll get everybody.
Okay, alright.
So, can you talk about the season a little bit? I know you're doing a little time traveling, going back in the past.
Yeah, how far back do you guys want me to go? You want me to start, like, talk from what I know, or just talk from... Yeah, alright, yeah.
You're bringing the past to the present day Eureka.
Okay, right. So we've gone back in time. We've aired a couple episodes already, and now we're dealing with the ramifications of the new timeline, is what we're doing this year. I think the impetus for the episode was, do you remember at the end of first season, there was that episode where we went back in time just for the end? That was done because we were really unsure if we were going to get a pickup, and we wanted Jamie and Andy wanted to give the audience a sense of where the future would have gone had the show gotten to go. Because Sci-Fi had never done a comedy without Space and Alien show before, and I'm just remembering back, and there was all this like, you know, we're dead. You know, they're all this like, wow, we've done our best, but we just want to give the audience an ending to the show, so we did it. But it quickly resolved itself. And they liked the idea, and they always wanted to do it properly, sort of do the idea later, but then really deal with the ramifications of what that would be, bringing information from different timelines back. So I think this is the real version of that, sort of 2 years later. And that story never gets told. So yeah.
How would you say, in your mind, the show's kind of evolved over time? Has the show changed a lot?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we started doing the show, it was a drama. The network would come down and they'd go, no more funny. All the directors that were vetted coming in first season were told relentlessly, like, this is not a comedy. This is not a comedy. So stop. So there was a lot of, and I guess I could get away with it because I come from the Second City, and our stuff is always, jokes are easy. So you get the drama right, and then you put the jokes in only where they live. You know, you don't make a joke at the expense of a plot point. You don't make a joke at the expense of, and I think that's always the fear with comedy, which is why people say no comedy, is that they're scared that it's going to be, you know, oh, I broke a nail, and invalidate everything that's going on in the scene. So yeah, dealing with the evolution of the show from from a network standpoint, I mean, now the show is a comedy. You know, it's the big selling point is that, like, oh, it's light family fare. From my perspective, I thought we were doing a really dark show with comedy out of the gate, and that's what I wanted to do out of the gate. And then, you know, years later, it's really sweet. It's really you get people coming up and like even today, guys like, your show's the one show I can watch with my son. He's 12, and it's really nice. Like it's a nice feeling that we're part of something that people can watch with their kid. It sounds so silly, but it's certainly like, oh, I'm glad I'm not a dark show. You know, I'm glad.
It's rare to find those shows anyway.
Yeah, I mean, who knew that it was going to go as procedural as it's gone over the last 6 years, where every network has, you know, its version of CSI and 3 versions of it going. So yeah, so that'd be the evolution of the show for me and from the network. And then I guess as the show itself, it's just found its feet, you know, as they do.
What's the one thing they've done in the show Harvard that you were like, wow, they really went there?
Well, we've all really gone there. There was a scene that was largely cut out of one of the episodes where I was at a gym and I couldn't find my gym clothes, so there was a bag of someone else's gym clothes, and it was like, I was wearing like a tank top. This is Frankie Says Relax on it, and like dolphin shorts that are striped, and like they went there, you know, for the whole thing. And then so because of the outfit, I really go there, and I'm doing like, you know, leg stretches and these really big movements, and that didn't work. So that was largely or completely cut out of the show. But I think that's part of making. I would think that that's part of making a good show, is really overstepping the mark sometimes. Because if you're not overstepping the mark, then you're not going far enough with other things. So you really got to blow it sometimes to realize where that line is.
How much fun did you have with the whole period piece with the costuming and props?
Miserable.
Really?
Absolutely miserable. It's 12-hour days, 16-hour days. Yeah, 12-hour days. Heading back to hotel first, Nicole. Hunting man.
Thank you.
See you next.
Yeah, I mean, it has they're all wool shirts, and the way they designed them back then, there's an inner piece that flaps over this way, buttons go up here, then the other piece goes over this way and buttons up here. And wool was pretty itchy back in the day. I'm surprised anyone went to wool. I'd have gone AWOL. I mean, the shoes are terrible. There's not one person who wasn't at the end of the day going like, oh my god. And it starts weird, but you start thinking of the soldiers and how it's really bad fashion. Like, it was really great, and they're in these things. They don't change. They're in them for weeks in those shoes. Like I guess, and then somebody says the number one killer was actually trench foot. So, and it completely makes sense. It was the worst clothing ever. But I love being in period stuff. It really provides a lot to the show, and we're grateful for the opportunity to use it.
They're looking for more now.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't go back to that anytime soon, they'll be happy.
I'm more than happy. Well, the problem is I'm shaving every day, right? And I've got to shave and I got to use makeup remover every day. So you put a wool collar on an area that's prone to getting a rash, and by the end of the week, it's not good. So
Very uncomfortable. Suffering for a crime.
that's right. I have to shave every day. I have to shower. It's terrible.
Everybody wants to obviously be, I want to be in a hit show, a big show. Do
Yeah.
you enjoy the idea of a cult show, a show that has sort of this rabid following?
Yeah, more so than a hit show. Yeah, I do. I have friends on hit shows, and their lives are compromised in a way that, like I like being nice to people. I like giving people time to ask questions, or they want an autograph, and I like that. And the people who are on these hit shows can't. It's just too rabid. They never get their grocery shopping done, or they have assistants, and their assistants have to go to the shop for them because they literally can't, or it's a 2-hour thing. Or they have to get dressed, and or they'll get a picture taken, and I'd wear the same clothes 2 days in a row and go, whatever. Yeah, I didn't change my clothes. There you go. Yeah, it's hard. I like a cult show. I think it's. I'm a big fan of the Dark Horse. I always root for the Dark Horse, so I like it. And I think cult shows are the Dark Horse. They sort of got this strong engine to them, but they're not exposed to the. It's not King of the Hill, I mean that in the biggest show. Everyone wants to rip it down. Everyone's waiting for a mistake so they can go, "That's crap! I always knew it." And I'm liking flying under the radar.
You still have some privacy, and you still.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's getting less and less, but it's still really manageable. And because of the nature of the show it is, people are really friendly to me.
Can you talk about, I know James Callis is on this.
Yeah, what a dick.
Well, there you go. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about what happens in terms of the character tensions and such between the Sheriff Carter and...
Oh, well, that's always a funny one. It's sort of because there's this idea out of the gate, right? And they want it to be contentious. They create this thing, and so I think a lot of times, like we were saying, with what goes too far, the finding a relationship, and finding a relationship, as an actor, you really have to do due diligence about not doing what you're told. You really have to. You got to sit down with James and go, okay, what about this is real, and what about it is just too much? Because if you let your guard down and just do what you're told, then the writers are going to get stuff in the editing room and they're going to go, oh, that's too far. So it was a matter of sitting down. The intention was for us to be contentious, but we had to find our own way of being contentious, because what we didn't want was it to devolve into immaturity, to devolve into, she's my girl, and then I have no respect for anybody in that situation. I hope none of you get it. So, yeah, those are the intentions, and that's how we dealt with it.
Thank you guys.
That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Colin,